Hello everybody and welcome. This is HD Starcraft and I am back for Game 3 between EG Jaedong and of course CM Storm Polt from the WCS/OSL, and this series so far has not disappointed. There have been some pretty good games, but so far Jaedong has gotten the shorter end of the deal here, and he's lost 2 games already. He's gonna have to get it together here if he wants to take this series down, and so far Polt has shown that he is a force to be reckoned with, and he always has been. He's always been one of the greater Terran players coming out of Korea, and you know, Jaedong, he's shown that he's got the mettle to hang with the Starcraft 2 players with his several great finishes in DreamHack. In fact, almost all of them second place, and you know, he hasn't really figured out how to deal with Polt yet. But that's the beauty of Jaedong, and watching a player like him play is he's able to kind of adapt and figure it out on the fly, and it's very, very hard to actually all-kill Jaedong. I don't think I've ever seen it happen. I think it may have happened, but I don't think I've ever seen it. One of his greatest abilities is being able to adapt during the matchup and figuring out your weakness and exploiting it. So we'll see what happens here in Game 3. One thing he's gonna have to really deal with is that that massively insane macro that Polt has, being able to pump out so many Marines in such a rapid fashion, has become a problem for Jaedong. And I did say, you know, if Jaedong can get up to high tech, then you know, any player is gonna be shaking in their boots. But Polt actually dealt with Jaedong quite well, even with Jaedong being on high tech. Excuse me, and we'll see if this time around Jaedong's got some type of different plan sorted out for Polt. Maybe he's gonna go to the late game again, go to Hive Tech. Maybe he's gonna try to depend more heavily on his Mutas, which is his signature play style. And he's got to figure something out to deal with Polt, because Polt is an absolute beast. And we'll just have to see what happens here. Jaedong is going to be bringing this Overlord in, does spot the Terran front door. On a map like Planet S, which I do feel is one of the smaller maps that are you know, used in tournament play these days, I would feel like this isn't going to go too far into the macro game, especially considering that on a map like this, it is a little harder for Zerg, I think, to establish a third expansion because it's so out in the open. So having said that, I think maybe Polt might have a bit of an edge on this map, but you never know. You never know, and we'll just see what happens here, because both these players are just so talented and so high level that it honestly could go either way. Game 2, I think, showed that. It was such a back and forth game, and I'm still kind of exhilarated from casting that, because it was one of the better Terran versus Zergs that I've seen in some time. So yeah, we'll see what happens here. Jaedong is going to bring this Overlord around the ice cliff, and actually most Zerg players will typically leave it around here. They can also take a quick gander back here, but they usually don't leave it too close to Terran you know, land, because it can get picked off by a Marine and a floating building. So that Reaper does actually make its way over to the Zerg side. It's just kind of going back and forth a little bit, seeing if it can't find its way into the Zerg main base. But with a Queen on the high ground and a Queen on the low ground, Jaedong is making sure to cover both areas here so that that Reaper cannot come in and get a scout into the Zerg main base. And what is going on inside Jaedong's main? Nothing too fancy, actually, but there are 2 extractors on the way right now. But it's not, those extractors aren't, you know, super early or anything like that. So we aren't going to be seeing like an early Zergling speed. Obviously, metabolic boost would have been done by now had that been the case. And Jaedong, I think, is going to be just approaching this game with a little bit earlier tech than, say, going for quick 3 hatcheries and then gassing up. And that's good, because on Planet S, you don't want to delay your tech for too long. It's a small map. Engagements can happen a little bit faster than on a bigger map like, you know, Newkirk Precinct, for example. 2 Reapers now are in the mix, with 2 Hellions also on the way. And Polt here is gathering troops outside of the Zerg natural expansion. But Jaedong has got 3 Queens here. And Queens are pretty beastly against Reapers and Hellions. They are not going to go down that easily. And the reason why Jaedong has brought all of his Queens out, not only for defense, but also to spread the creep and make sure that he can get early map presence on this snowy climate. And 2 more Hellions now coming in, so 4 Hellions, 2 Reapers here. You'll note that Polt is wisely moving in with the Reapers first because he knows that these units can regenerate health outside of combat, whereas the Hellions cannot. So he's allowing the Reapers to soak up some of the early damage. Very, very good moves here from Polt. And every little bit does count. He does have a Viking now out on the field. He did the same thing in game 1 with an early Viking to deal with the Overlords. And he is going to pick off that scouting Overlord outside of his base. More Hellions coming in here now. And at this point, Jaedong has to be a little bit concerned with how many forces are outside of his base. So he is going to throw up some defenses here. Very wise to get a Spine Crawler and a couple Evolution Chambers. And lucky for Polt there that he did not lose a unit. He actually almost lost 2 Hellions there. Going for a tour of duty next to the Zerg wall. But was able to get out of harm's way, leaving 1 full health Hellion behind, and roasts up a drone that was going to become a hatchery. So very nice play by Polt. But Jaedong says, you know, drone schmoan, I don't need that 3rd expansion. I'm going for a Spire here, and he's got it coming up behind the natural expansion. I don't think that Polt sees it. He does not. So there is going to be mutas on the way here, and we'll see if Jaedong can make that strategy work on this map, which I think this is the best map for a muta-based, you know, tier 2 style of strategy, and I think this is going to be great for Jaedong. He's got a lot of Zerglings out on the map as well. He's going to be able to get us around on these Hellions and Reapers. They won't be able to do anything except just run away. So Polt is going to get out of there with his Hellions, but a lot of Zerglings are on the way now to the Terran front door. 1 medevac has been pulled out in order to, I guess, no, it's not going to go and save these Hellions because it is loaded up. He's going to go and try to drop it, but unfortunately for him, that was scouted out by the Zerglings on the ground, so you'd imagine that Jaedong will be in position to deflect this medevac with 4 Marauders. And of course, CM Storm Polt is bringing this in an effort to snipe out this hatchery, and I don't think it's going to be too effective. I would imagine Jaedong's going to be bringing a buttload of Zerglings over there right now. And Marauders, they're good, but they can't really beat Zerglings down. But the thing here is Polt does have a medevac, so he can kind of lift him up. But no! Jaedong brings his mutas in, and that is going to force Polt to get the hell out of there. But unfortunately, he used his afterburners just a second too soon. Now going to be forced to evacuate his Marauders, and they are just going to drop down into the Zerglings. So, great by Jaedong, and, you know, good moves by him, really. Bringing the Zerglings to assist in case those Marauders drop off, and having the mutas out there just in time. Now, the thing is, those mutas did end up revealing themselves on that medevac, so back at home, you'd imagine Polt's going to be adding on missile turrets, reactors. Yeah, he's got exactly what I said he was going to have. 4 reactors on the way, my god. And, you know, he's going to have a lot of anti-air defenses set up. Not even that, but just Widow Mines as well, which are also going to assist. Ouch! 1 mine there detonating on the Mutalist. And you can see in today's metagame of ZvT, Zergs are forced to... Oh, that Widow Mine taking out Zerglings. Zergs are forced to bring an Overseer with their Mutapack in order to snipe out those Widow Mines. And that's the reason why Jaedong has brought this Overseer along, so that he can see those burrowed units. But the thing is, I think Polt has just enough of, you know, anti-air forces in his base that it's going to be enough to deter these mutas from running in there and sniping off SCVs. But Jaedong, I think, is going to be okay with us. I think what he's trying to do right now is play a contained game. He doesn't want to let Polt get a free 3rd expansion. As long as he can contain the Terran on 2 bases, very similar to how Brood War Zerg versus Terran was played, then he's going to be able to build up a massive edge over Polt. But here comes Polt. He is going to be getting that 3rd expo down at the 6 o'clock here, and Jaedong did not see it coming. He actually has his mutas flying around here. I don't know what for, but there's a lot of SCVs and mules coming over here, and a huge squadron of Marines to reinforce this location. I don't think that Jaedong is going to be able to attack here, and yeah, that's too many Marines for him. He's going to be forced to pull away, and now I think a Baneling Nest with centrifugal hooks would be a good idea, and yeah.